Welcome. Do we have a Youngstown Talk channel? We need to put up our background thingy.
I'll do that.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Welcome. No Luke today. It's a doctor's appointment. So it's me and Joe sitting in the studio. We're going to talk. Youngstown Talk channel. We appreciate you being here. 330-595-1600. You can call in. I think Joe's got the phones open. Do we have the phones open? We have the phones open. So call in. We will talk about whatever you want to talk about today. Remember, our objective is Youngstown Radio is coming to an end. So we are trying to be a good replacement. 9 a.m. when you go into work, turn us on. You can turn us off at 5 p.m. when you leave work. But we're still building. And Joe, I mean, can I ask the people if they want to be a talk show host?
F yeah.
They can be
all
a part of
different stripes. You do not have to be a polished broadcaster in order to share what you feel.
Yeah, we're just trying to, like I said, replace the end of Youngstown Radio and give local people a shot. You can come in here, whatever, right, left, in the middle, sports, what I don't know. We're just trying to create something here. So Youngstown Talk channel. Thanks for listening. We appreciate you being here. Joe, what are we talking about today? I put it on you. I was like, Joe, I'm out of it today. What are we talking about?
So I know Luke wants to talk about the property taxes thing, but it's fresh on my brain, and I haven't really responded publicly about it. So give me, are you and Luke sort of like in
Luke is
here?
Luke is much more involved in it than I am. I just simply put, with the removing property taxes from the state of Ohio, right? The state of Ohio is, their state representatives are basically saying it's unconstitutional, or the right is trying to say it's unconstitutional. Correct. And we should completely remove property taxes, which would be great. I own 5 acres in South Range. I would love to not have that $5,000 a year or whatever it's costing me that I have to pay. But the problem is, I'm afraid of the Hydra situation where you chop off property taxes and 5 more fill the void. So then they go to, oh, you're going to have a fire department tax. You're going to have a roads tax. You're going to have a school tax. You're going to have this tax, and you're going to have this tax. And then instead of just having one property tax, the government hits you with all these other taxes, and it creates more. I think in every past situation in history where you give the government the opportunity, they ruin it. Or you give them an opportunity to do the right thing, they never do it. So the goal of the people is to remove property taxes. They can save money. And I'm all for that goal. I'm in agreement with the conservatives on this one. I want less. I want to pay the government less. I want the government to be smaller. But I don't think the plan that they have in place is going to create that. I'm afraid they're using like a bait and switch tactic, which Luke has mentioned in the past. They are going to say, here, this is the great thing you're going to get by removing property taxes. And that actually is never going to come to fruition. And they're going to have more opportunity to tax you more. And that just scares the crap out of me.
Well, you're half right. Both Luke and you, on principle, I agree with you.
Yeah.
But there's another half of it that we'll have a philosophical discussion.
Okay.
Okay. Down?
I'm always down for philosophical discussion. I cannot
have philosophical discussions when Luke is here.
No.
Right. So it's just you and I.
Right. He's too chaotic to think about that.
Right. All right. So let me give you this premise. Right.
Okay.
So let's just say you needed a service at your house.
Okay.
House painting, plumbing, whatever. As a consumer, would you not want to be able to, number one, would you like the rate that you pay based on what your wealth is? Big house, pay more. Small house, pay less. You have more money.
Of course not.
More. Okay.
Of course not.
So you do not want it progressively set where people who pay more and don't realize any additional services, but the only reason they were charged something was because they had more wealth.
Yeah.
Right. And you want some people to be able to paint their house for absolutely free, subsidized by other people.
No, of course not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you counter that behavior? Transaction, right? You go to the grocery store, you buy bread.
Okay.
The bread then cost X.
Yeah.
And you have the choice whether or not to buy the bread if you feel like you're being exploited. And if it's like $100 for you and $5 for the next person in line,
right,
you are going to object and you're going to decide not to buy it.
Yeah.
So then the person who's selling it has to make decisions to whether or not I really want Isaac's purchase, right? I can't charge him $100 because he's totally going to object to that.
Right.
And then they can bring their prices in line by you being able to say freaking no.
Right.
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 So if you have $1 million house and you have a $50,000 house, are you paying different property taxes into the system?
Yes.
Are you receiving a proportional premium in services because you pay more?
Absolutely not.
So is that a fairness to people who have larger estates?
Is it fair?
Yeah.
So I think the argument for the left there would be, well, you're taking up more land. So since you're taking up more land, you have more land to service, I guess. Since you own more land, your property taxes are more.
Like what community, city, township services?
If your entire, I guess the argument would be, not that I agree with it, but I guess the argument would be if your entire plot of land, if I have 5 acres versus you who has an acre, my entire land catches on fire, there'd have to be more services going to that property.
Perfect. Like business does this all the time.
Right.
We take the total liabilities and costs, whether it be labor, extension of liability in certain areas, cost of product, whatever, and we find a formula that is fair for the person paying the services.
Yeah.
Right. And so if I had an insurance policy and there would be like an actuary that would say, what liability do I represent? And you pay a bigger premium because you have more stuff to cover, right?
Right.
Business does this every single day. So why do city services act like more charity work than they do actuaries or liability coverage?
And I saw your post. You said like if charity work is paid is forced, it's not charity anymore.
Exactly.
Right. But my problem is not, like, I get what you're saying and I agree with what you're saying, but my problem is you're in this scenario, there is only, go back to your grocery store analogy. There is no competition in government. There is only one person making the goddamn bread. So you can say no, but you can't say no. You can't say no.
You are held hostage.
But I have no other, like, I can go to Schwabel's. I can go to the Giant Eagle brand. I can go, like, I have options. But with our current situation, there's only one damn bread maker. So if they screw it up, I still have to eat their crappy bread. So I'm afraid that they're going to screw it up and the bread recipe's only going to get freaking worse. And then I'm going to be eating shitty bread and there's no other choice.
What if I give you the option? You're a taxpayer and either you put your money into the kitty and you subsidize other people's city services.
Yeah.
Versus you're on pay on demand. Your house catches on fire. You pay $10,000 per incident.
Oh God.
Right. Now you have choice. You can say, no, I don't want to pay the taxes. And as you use services, you'll pay those taxes.
Yeah, that would suck too. I get it. I know. Because it needs to change. I mean,
how much do you pay per year?
I think it's like 5,000.
Okay.
I think.
Oh, do you think?
I'm not 100% sure. Somebody go on the auditor's site, look my name up, and
if you have $5,000 sitting on the desk right here,
plus my investment property too,
and the city government said, "Oh, you have $5,000 sitting on the desk."
Okay.
We want to earn that. We want to provide value. We want to give you services that make you pay that $5,000 and feel good about paying it.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, we're going to do roads, and 60,000 people that live here. It costs us about $10 million per year.
Right.
So a portion of your 5,000, would you be cool with equally dividing it based on who uses the roads? Would you be cool with that? Yes or no? If you say yes, you go towards the roads. If you say no, you can't use the roads anymore.
So yeah, I want, if you're going to come up with an idea that makes my $5,000 worth it, then yeah.
Do you think you are getting, if you pay 5,000, you're getting value for that 5,000?
I don't think anything the government, like, no, I don't think they're going to give me good value. No, never. They can't. They can't. No,
but there are some people in society that paid $30 and use all those services a lot.
Yeah.
And they're like, boom. paid for
that's
by
the
Isaac.
downfall of socialism, the downfall of communism, the free rider system. Everybody pays into it, but some take more than others. That's the problem with a socialist state and why they fail every time.
You want the governments to be able to really spend a lot of time on serving communities well, and you want the people who are paying it to feel right and to extend themselves because they know when they spend $1, they get $1 in value.
Yeah, but I know where you're going. I get the point you're trying to make, but the problem isn't that. Like, there is no, there's always going to be that efficiency problem. But I just feel like if you do that and you pull the table away from them, don't even give them the opportunity to charge us with property taxes because they're always going to be bad at it, right? I get that argument, but the problem is I'm afraid they are going to use this as an opportunity to create more, because you're not just gonna pull the money away from them and be like, oh, well, that sucks. Now we just got to work with what we have. There's no way they do that. They're going to use it as an opportunity to say, well, we can't keep running the way we are, so we're going to have to create more things, and the people are just going to have to be okay with it because they made us do this, and they're going to blame it on the voters.
Dichotomy, though. Because really, you think your only options is either pay an unconstitutional property tax and give them blank check funding to do whatever they see with it, even if it's inefficient, even if they don't give good value to taxpayers, or give them nothing and then flub it up and not be able to provide any services whatsoever. Yeah. There's a third option where intelligent people, like businesses do, say, this is about to happen and let's formulate it. Let's put a plan together for how we fund those things. Yep. But if we take the emphasis on that third option and make it so like, oh, they're not going to do it, so just give them a pass. Like, give them a blank check or don't give them anything at all.
What exactly right now is there? Do they have a plan in place for what they're going to do when they remove property taxes? Have they given us details?
Zero.
That is freaking stupid.
Absolutely.
That is stupid.
Yes.
Because what if they're doing that on purpose?
Exactly.
What if they're doing it on purpose and they're just trying to bait and switch you? That's what I'm afraid of.
Absolutely.
So Dean says, replace it with a predictable flat tax. Property taxes are effed. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Like, let's have a plan in place so that the people understand, hey, we're getting rid of this and we're putting this in place. Or, hey, we're going to do a consumption tax. So it's like, you're only taxed on what you consume, and then that way it's a perfectly equal system. The savers benefit, the people who spend more get taxed more. It's fair. Like, that's cool. But if you just say, oh, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna all the people who have property, you're gonna save all this money, all the empty nesters, aka all the people that vote the most, aka mostly boomers. You guys are gonna here's this carrot on a stick. It's gonna be great. Chase after it, chase after it, chase after it, and then they're gonna pull the rug out from under you and say, "Oh, we have all these other taxes we're gonna have to put in place now because we don't have any other options because we don't have any money anymore." They're going to do something, and I don't trust them. They have been. I mean, how did Trump get into office? He made all these promises to everybody. He told everybody, we're going to drain the swamp. I'm going to release the Epstein list. I'm going to do A, B, C, and D. And everybody's like, woo, let's go. Finally, somebody who's not a politician. And then he gets in and none of those things happen. It's just, I don't care what side of the aisle they're on. I don't trust them. And I think the conservative decision to make in this situation, if you truly want less taxes, is to force them to have a plan before they take away the property taxes.
I looked at 25 cities that have done this in the past.
Yeah.
Of those 25 cities, how many of them do you think worked out where they had a property tax analog that filled in the gaps? Of the 25.
Ooh, this is interesting. Well, cities or states? Didn't Florida?
Cities.
Did Florida do this already?
Florida, Nevada, New Jersey. There's a couple of them.
And you said there's 25 that
I looked at. There's more than that, but 25 communities. And
so what you're asking is they had something fill that void,
and they did it adequately.
So by adequately, you mean less than what they were originally paying?
Cost taxpayers less and got better services because of it.
And how many years have they been doing it? It's just a recent thing, right?
No, it's not been recent. It's been a while.
Interesting. I don't know. 5 of the 25.
That's exactly right.
Oh,
5 of 25. Let me name you a couple of them.
The other 20 didn't.
They had shortfalls. They had to keep rejiggering it before they got things backfilled and figured out ways of doing it. They had lots of ideas like
Natalie, is that what I owe? Did you look up 3,539? Did you look me up on the auditor site? Thanks. That's, you know what? That sounds more right.
Do you feel insecure that someone looked up your data?
No. You guys want to talk about something creepy? Is the auditor site. You can look up who owns what. Super creepy. And then the only people who are kind of protected as like police officers and stuff, you can pay to have your name removed, or you buy your property under a business name.
Yeah.
And then,
when they doxed me, they got every publicly available thing.
People are such like,
they're resourceful.
Thanks, Natalie.
All right.
Is my other property in there too?
Caller, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Who's this?
It's me. You know who?
Hey, why don't you just buzz off for the day, bro? Why don't you just you gotta stay? You can't help it. Like, hey, go to the doctors, dude. Just stay away. Like, oh, Luke, I'm Luke calling. He puts in the screening. He puts in the screening. You're pissing me off. Like, dude, okay, you're not allowed to be pissed because you're not here.
I'm going to the doctor, but here's the other thing. Here's the other thing that I missed in my little video the other day in the post.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The state of Ohio and the state government is currently allowed to impose sales tax and income tax without the public voting on it. Okay, that's a fact.
Terrifying.
Okay?
Terrifying.
When we eliminate the property tax, which the counties get a ton of money from, the schools get a ton of money from, okay? They eliminate that. They're not going to be able to pass levies and stuff like that, or income tax or anything else like that, because everybody's going to say no, right? I mean, it's just the boomers are going to say no. They're not going to vote for any sort of sales tax or income tax in the counties, in the villages, in the cities. All of that power, then, what the state's going to do is they're going to say, okay, we'll take over and we'll distribute the funds accordingly. So they're going to hammer the state with income tax and sales tax, collect the money, and then distribute it amongst the state. This is terrifying because it's going to take away the power from the local governments, which we can hold more accountable than at the state level. And we are going to be screwed. I just can't stress that enough, that these people that are trying to push this, and the more I dig, it is going to be bad. That's the bottom line.
Right. As voters, we have to make sure we put the government in a position where they can't do anything nefarious. They can't pass anything nefarious. We are basically giving them the opportunity to do the right thing and also take advantage if they want to. And I get it.
Never.
They are trying to sell you on the fact that, oh, we have this opportunity. They will not. They never do. And giving them the opportunity to do the wrong thing, it's not worth it at all.
Yeah,
they do not have a reputation of doing the right thing ever and promising us stuff and then delivering. They just don't. So I refuse to give them that opportunity. But thanks for calling in, Luke. I hope your doctor's appointment goes great. What are you getting checked up on today?
He hung up.
Oh.
Dude, I don't know why you guys sound like Stockholm syndrome sufferers.
No.
You
we don't,
feel
though, Joe. Because where is the Joe that I know and love that doesn't trust the government?
I don't trust the government.
You do, though. You're putting trust in them.
When you give the government, the state government, less things to do and manage by your local cities, like you're assuming that they're going to be a state sales tax to fill in the gaps. We don't have to do that. You can have public,
like Luke said, though, they have the opportunity to tax us more on other things because they have the opportunity to pass without a vote, get more taxes from us in one way.
Who, the state?
Yeah,
they could,
and they will.
But
they 100% will. You can't just take away
if cities
their food and then
cities figure it out, though. If communities in the state of Ohio figure out how to pay for their own local services without enacting the state to backfill those things.
And you think the states are going to efficiently do that?
Well,
including Youngstown.
The percentage of history,
Youngstown's good at doing things.
A 5 in 25 shot gives us at least a chance.
You think wait. The amazing report card in history that local governments in the Youngstown area have, we're going to give them, let's just believe in them. You know, they've proven to us in the
They won't
past
F it up.
that they are just amazing. They're not going to screw anything up. I don't trust any of them. I don't care what level it is. Give them less power. You freaking conservatives. I can't believe me, the guy that gets called a snowflake all the time, and like the left in general, the leftward leaning people in general are arguing. Like, I feel like my perspective is more conservative than you guys are. Like, I don't trust them at all. Ever.
But you're making assumptions that aren't part of the rubric yet. So, all right, the 5
you are giving opportunity. The opportunity is
yes,
there.
I agree with
for
you.
them to bend us over and
opportunity,
F us. And you're letting them like, oh, don't worry, you don't have to take me to dinner.
The thing is,
just
they're
do it.
already bending
Just
you
do
over.
it.
They're already bending you
Yeah,
over.
but they're gonna freaking do it harder.
You don't know that.
I don't know that, but
You don't know
you're giving them the opportunity to.
So
Like,
that's why I say Stockholm
here's a
syndrome.
knife. They already have the knife and they're already digging it in. Oh, here's a bigger knife.
But that's
That's
how Stockholm syndrome starts. You're like, he beats me and he yells at me, right? Now it's the opportunity that if I escape, it might be worse than that.
I'm pretty
so
sure.
let me stick with my captor.
I'm the lady in the abusive relationship that's getting beaten. That's like, hey, I'm tired of the beatings. Let's not give him a bigger weapon to beat me with. That's what I'm doing.
Not giving opportunity of it's fear-based. You don't know that's going to happen. So let me counter my own argument.
I think my fear of them beating us down. I think my fear is warranted. Like if this was a good dude, if it was you, Joe, standing behind me and you're like, hey, I'm going to do the right thing. Sure. Yeah, Joe, I don't think you're going to stab me with a bigger knife, but I don't trust them.
But put your energy in that if this is going to happen, make it so that there's some intelligence built into that formulation.
Right.
So the five cities that survived the property tax thing, guess what they leveraged?
What?
Tourism. So they were Atlantic City, New Jersey. They were Las
They
Vegas,
have
Nevada.
Lots of tourism. We can, as Youngstown, we can leverage our tourism.
Exactly.
Everybody wants to come here, Joe.
Exactly. The sun, the surf, like the gambling.
Everybody wants to come to Youngstown, right? It's so great.
Everybody else trialed a bunch of things that did not freaking work. So I'm not saying this is going to be an easy haul. I'm saying that it's possible if we don't get saying like our imperfect system is good enough, and let's just defer to that rather than engineering our way out of this.
All I'm saying,
we have a chance for engineering it.
Is maybe we should have a plan. I
agree. 100%. I am with you.
Natalie looked up my property taxes.
Yes.
I want to save $3,500 a year. You know how great that would be?
But if
I could buy my golf cart.
So hypothetically, there's also an opportunity that you spend that $3,500. You're not having it pass through the state coffers, so there's no efficiency loss. 100% of what you pay goes to your local community, and then you can then decide whether or not that $3,500 you got good value for it. And if it didn't, then you have opportunities to make corrections in your local community rather than on the state level. That doesn't sound appealing to you at all.
It sounds
You're just doubtful. I understand.
I'm just doubtful.
You're afraid.
Dean says it's hard and we can't trust them, so let's keep letting them blast us on property taxes. It's a bad argument to let them continue being irresponsible with ever increasing property tax.
Perfectly said.
I just think too many people are biting on their bait, and it's nothing more than that. And all I'm saying is I agree. I don't want to pay property taxes either. I really don't. I don't want to pay them, but I'm just saying we need a plan, or else they are going to take advantage.
Well,
like
what would you do?
Freaking do.
So Isaac is now the village administrator.
Yeah.
Now you get word that rather than people paying property taxes, what they're used to paying, that they're going to send their money to you, and then you're basically going to distribute it to all your city services. Do you think it's possible to take the same money that your city was operating on after the loss of the state scrape? Do you think you can make it work by paying your fire, your police, your everything else, and you can decide to cut out all the waste that's not necessary?
I have no idea. I don't know how to run a government. I have no idea. Can they? You tell me. Do you think they have enough money? Does Youngstown have enough money to pay for all that crap without getting property taxes?
If it's the same amount, if all of your property owners are sending you the exact same amount that they were sending you before, but they're not going to, right?
But
if they do, if you figure out what all of your tax base was paying and just direct it directly to you rather than running it through the state. You don't think you could take the same money and make it work more efficient?
I think you could, yeah.
That's another possibility and opportunity. We know how much they were paying. We know what our costs were, and we can go through and gut some waste because we've got Isaac control over our city. I bet you would get better services when they're more appealing to taxpayers.
Because you're eliminating the middleman, which is
exactly right. What would you guess? 20? Do you think it's like 20%, 50%?
So here's the thing. With that argument, there are going to be some areas that are better than others.
Yes.
Okay. Some cities in Youngstown or some cities in the state of Ohio that are better than others at being efficient with that money and doing the right thing.
Right.
And you think Youngstown is
good enough?
Is going to be good enough to figure it out. You really think that?
No, I don't.
Absolutely not.
No, I think 90% of the cities are going to be in great chaos when this happens.
Right. And you think that Youngstown is going to rise from the ashes I have zero faith in Youngstown and the leadership in Youngstown right now. Will that change? I think so. I think people are finally getting fed up enough that, hey, we need to start putting some good people in there. But right now, I have zero faith.
All right. Well, he brought something interesting. It's not running through the state. It goes to the county. So the county commissioners take tax and property tax payments directly to the county, and then it gets distributed to the city. I was wondering that to see how the flow of money happened. If it goes to the state, I'm assured that there would be a 20% loss in whatever comes back to your local districts.
Right.
But if it's going through the county, I think that's a little bit more control.
I like less moving parts. I like that if it goes to the county or wherever and you just totally chop the head off of that. That's nice. But it's scary. And I hope I'm wrong. In this scenario, if this happens and this passes, I hope I'm wrong. But you should never... I don't like giving the government the opportunity to be nefarious and use it as a springboard to get more taxes from the people.
The moral of the story is they have to have a plan. Every community,
why don't they have a plan yet?
I don't know. I think it has a low possibility of passing. I really don't think this is even a thing.
I think it will pass because I think who is the biggest voter base? The biggest voter base is old timers and boomers. Okay. They vote the most. They are using this as here's your bait, boomers. You have a fixed income. Here it is. Pay. We're going to take away property taxes, and you're going to, by the time we figure out what to do and start charging people, you're not even going to be here anymore. So pass it and we're good. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. So I think a low probability that it passes this time through.
Really?
I think a lot of council meetings need to at least contemplate it to figure out what if they did do this, how would we even respond? How would we pay for the stuff that we have? And I think it's a checkmate, and getting those people who administrators sort of like the hypothetical to say, oh shit, we would have to cut, the free money out real quick.
Let's talk about, I saw you posted about it, that they were with the tariffs. They were going to give money back.
Yes.
I think so. So $600. So from the tariff money that Trump's making, they're going to give everybody $600.
Yes.
I hate that.
Okay.
And once again, it's the same thing that happened during COVID. They printed money and gave everyone $1,400 or whatever it was during COVID. As a hey, I know you guys are hurting right now, but here's $1,400. During COVID, the difference was during COVID, they had to print that money. This time they're saying, oh, we made it from tariffs.
Yes.
There's a fund. But the problem is, if we're losing money, if we're hemorrhaging money, don't give the people money, fix our budget and use that money to pay off our debts. Stop trying to bait the people into thinking we're doing the right thing and we're paying people to agree with you, and instead fix our issues. All that's going to do, just like it did during COVID, if you would have taken that $1,400 and dumped it into Bitcoin or assets of in any way, shape, or form, the stock market, property, whatever, it just created inflation. and it just made people go out and spend, created supply chain issues, and the markets and all the assets jumped up in price because everyone went out as soon as they got their $1,400 check. I remember walking through Walmart during COVID, and all the TVs were gone right after the $1,400 was given because everybody just went out and spent money. So don't do that. If you give everybody $1,000, it's the same as giving everybody $0. It's just pushing money into the system, and the people who invest in the business and the people who run our country that are heavily invested in the stock market make more money.
All right, let's math it. You ready to do some math with me?
Math it up.
Okay. So tariffs, there was an incentive for people to buy cheap goods from other countries,
okay,
right?
Yes.
Which dried up our manufacturing base. Correct. Because it was good for consumers because they got to pay $200 for a freaking TV, right?
Yeah.
And so the tariffs then give the advantage or less advantage to the importation and more advantage to local manufacturing, right? So far, so good.
Yeah.
But direct result consumer is now they have to forego the super cheap goods coming in from China.
Okay.
And now they have to look at one that's made in their own town.
Okay.
Costs more. Labor costs.
Yeah.
Regulations. Taxes. All of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so now it's like, that's not as good as a deal anymore. But now my paycheck's the same, and I got to buy a TV that costs 30% more,
right?
Because of tariffs, what it added to it,
right?
So now the government collected $200 billion in tariffs. So now the government's like, how do we spend that money that skews it? Now, first off, there has to be three elements to it. Number one, paying down the debt, right?
Okay.
Number two, because if you're in a debt, you're creating inflation, and that's working against consumers. Number two is that you have to subsidize the manufacturing base to now take something that's not happening to maybe happen again. So maybe there's an industry that has been completely decimated by another country. Getting that going again, priming the pump so that industry could get going again here in the United States to give more options to local consumers and create more jobs.
Okay.
And number three, giving consumers, now they're paying more money. Maybe that money comes back in and offsets a lot of the increased costs that the tariffs caused on the retail goods that they purchase.
Okay.
You do all three of those things. It's just about the ratio of what you want to put in three. I'll give you mine, and I want to hear yours. I say 50% of the tariff gains go into paying down the national debt. So of a $200 billion,
I like
you
that.
take about $100 billion of it and you pay down national debt. You take about then half of the half and you put into subsidizing industries and helping industries that are really at a disadvantage to maybe get another shot.
Yeah.
And then you give the rest of the 25% direct back to consumers to offset the cost of the increased tariffs. What say you?
I like that plan. Okay. But I think that they're doing it the wrong way. Like, why don't you, instead of giving everybody a $600 check?
It's only $9 billion, dude. That's less than 4.5% of tariffs.
But they're doing it in a way to try and bait you. Like, it's the same thing as the property taxes. They want you to have a physical check for $600 in your hand so that they can say, look, we gave you $600. Why don't you, if you really want to help the people, like, hey, we're going to remove 1% of what we're taxing you in income tax or something, or whatever tax from the national level, so that you lower the taxes overall and say, we made this much money, we're going to continue making this much money. Let's slowly start to ease your tax burden at everyone's tax burden, and then do it that way. And then it will continue to be like that. We will continue to operate charging the people less. But instead, they want to get you a $600 check, or they want to get you a check.
All right. So if they came out, had a press conference and say, hey, we took the national average and everybody is paid 4.5% more for all the goods that they're purchasing in the stores.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And so we've got this money that we collected at this point. We're just going to give you 4.5 as an equal share of everyone who's now invested in this new tariff plan.
Yeah.
Then if they said that, then at least it would connect, and the sort of the circuit would connect and say, oh, okay, well, this is my equal share as a person willing to pay more for the sake of having your neighbor employed in a right. company that you're buying from in your local community.
Yeah. Yeah.
Communication then.
Right.
That's all it would take.
Yeah. And I love that, like, Youngstown was decimated because of steel,
right.
because of this exact situation, it was cheaper to produce it in a different country than it was to produce it here locally in Youngstown.
Correct.
If you
Ross
could,
Perot, baby.
right, if you could create more jobs in this area, that'd be wonderful. I mean, that would be good. I think that's worth paying a little bit more. But and like you said, if you can rig it up to we get the paychecks, it goes back to the people so that it makes up for it.
Yeah. And so like if
I just don't know enough, honestly, I'm not going to lie. I don't know enough about it.
But I'm saying if they would come out and share the math behind it and say, hey, okay, well, this quarter there was a 9% increase in cost of goods. And so we're going to take the whole, whatever we've collected at this point, and now your check is 9% of everything that we've collected. And so the individual people feel like they're invested in the plan,
right,
and they're going to get a proportional amount depending on what their, individual costs went up.
But I mean, explaining that to the average person.
Yeah, I agree.
You know
I agree with that.
Because the average person isn't free. Like, I'm struggling to understand it. The average person who's not college educated, or just educated reads enough is going
but okay, that
it's way easier for them to understand. You're giving me a $600 check in my hands. That's way, like, look at what they did. They gave me a $600 check. It's like,
But that dude, when he receives a check, he's just basically going to put it in his account, and it's going to offset it regardless if he realizes it or not. He's just been made whole versus what the tariffs did to his paycheck.
But it doesn't continue. It's a one-time check for $600.
No, it's not going to be. They're going to collect up to $1 trillion by the end of the year in these tariffs. So
but
every quarter,
I don't think you keep giving them. I mean, what do you think? You want checks forever? You want checks every quarter?
That's why I said,
like a goddamn dividend.
That's why I said, if you can be completely independent, where the stuff that you buy comes from your own country, it's going to require two things: people that make a priority to buy from your local communities, and industries to pop up to replace the ones that are now more expensive that came from China.
It's like, hey, if you keep buying local, you're going to see, and everybody's on the same page, you're going to see more of a dividend. You're going to see more of...
Exactly. Nobody's going to give a shit. Eventually, you're not going to get any checks because the majority of Americans are buying from American companies.
Yeah.
There's going to be very little that we import from other countries, except for like lithium and steel and the things that I don't ever see.
It is
interesting.
Back. It is definitely interesting. I don't know. Once again, I don't trust the government to do it correctly, but I mean, that could work.
I'm not sold on it. I said it's a good starting part of the idea.
No, me neither.
The methodology is good. I get punched in the dick every time I take the position on these kind of things because I love when things mathematically make sense. And normal people like when it emotionally feels good.
Yeah, and I think if you did it right and you kept the checks coming, and people could have a physical check in their hands or money deposited into their account that says, hey, this is because and they could sell it in a way, hey, this is because you shopped local more this time. We have a $700 check this time instead of
Cost
$600.
You more. You
and
shopped
then
right.
People will be able to see A plus B equals C. If I buy more local stuff and everybody in the United States does their fair share, we get more of a check. So buy local. That's cool. And I mean, that works. That is easy for people to understand, but I'm sure it's not that simple, and I'm sure they'll screw it up. But hey, thank you everybody for watching. We appreciate you being here. If you could go down below, give us a like. We have 5 likes so far. Give us a like. Follow the MLO Bros. Follow Youngstown Studio, and call in. Give us your opinion on this topic. It's an interesting one. It really is. 330-595-1600. Joe, what else is going on? Anything?
Let me read Paul real quick. The reason the Ohio Supreme Court ruled the process of using property taxes to pay for schools is the exact reason Isaac said. Poor areas do worse than wealthy areas. Discrimination is inferred. If property taxes change, it almost certainly will go to the for distribution. So, but that's something that needs to be tackled. And
Paul, call in and explain that.
So let's just say you have a district, right?
Okay.
Low property tax value.
Yeah.
They have to use whatever they bring in revenue wise to pay for city services.
Yeah.
Versus Poland, who has high property taxes, and they have more
They're
money
more
to deal
likely.
with.
They're more likely to
Are your
figure it
schools
out.
going to suck?
Yeah.
If you have less money to spend,
Right.
100%.
And I think across the board in the United States, we need to figure out how to, like Youngstown City Schools is a perfect example. We need to figure out how to create a better school in Youngstown, and then more people will move to the Youngstown area if the schools are good.
How do you do that though?
I have no freaking
Okay, so
idea.
how do
no
private
idea.
schools do it? How do you get a good education? By you pay tuition.
They have wealthy people that go to school there, and they charge a ridiculous amount of money. I mean,
Exactly.
look at Ursuline or Mooney, how expensive it is to go there. It's crazy, and their schools are taken care of, even though they're old. But it's like,
but there's a responsibility.
Wealthy people.
That the people that pay the tuition put pressure on the school to deliver results, and you have a good school.
Yeah.
If you get $15,000 per pupil in a school that nobody's accountable for where the money comes from, nobody puts pressure on them to give them a good product, and then you have an urban school that is making more per pupil than a private school,
right?
But it's a dog shit product at the end of the day. Just like the grocery store. But it starts with money. You need money in all situations. You need money. So if I just said no, you don't. If the per pupil rate is higher on a school that's in an urban area, higher than a private school, and a private school can use less money and give a better product.
Okay,
and an urban area can give a worse product.
Okay.
It's not much just money.
Why if that's the case, why does Poland have better school ratings than Youngstown? If it's not about
good
money,
question.
it's not
Are you brave enough to answer that question?
I am brave enough to answer that
okay,
question.
answer the question. What about it? If all things were the same, it's the state of Ohio, the same amount of tax base per pupil amount going into the school. You have buildings and facilities that are of equal. There's not a school that is deteriorating and has, leaking roofs and terrible conditions. What's the difference?
Property values are what in Poland?
Well, they get an equal share.
They're higher.
So the
property
per
values
pupil is the same.
Property values are higher. The number of good communities without crime are higher.
Okay, so crime would be a deal. Go ahead, be courageous, man.
I know.
Just do it. Just freaking do it.
So crime is low.
Okay,
which leads to more people want to move there.
Okay,
and then I would say too, if more people are invested in making Poland better, I would say the education level is higher.
Okay.
The
emphasis on education culturally.
Okay. And I think that's tough to I would say just what level of education do the people, how educated are the people living in the houses, in the properties?
So the level of education of the community.
Yeah. Did they graduate high school? Did they graduate college? All the people living in Poland, is their education level as an individual person higher living in those communities?
Okay.
And then also, what's their income level?
Okay.
I'd say the income levels are higher in Poland. Okay. But I think in order to fix the schools in Youngstown, I think it needs to start with money. I think if you took a bunch of money, I don't know where you take it from. We can argue where you take it from.
But I say bullshit.
You can say bullshit. Listen, just listen. Hold on. Let me get my point. Let me get my point out. If you took a ton of money and efficiently gave it to the city of and the city of Youngstown blows all their money. I mean, look at all the COVID money. But instead of they had millions of dollars that they got from COVID. Can I make my point, please, Laura, first?
That was a passive, quiet comment. She didn't interrupt you. Thank you, Laura.
There's no exclamation point. If you paid teachers a ton of money, so $200K per teacher, and you said, listen, I know Youngstown's rough, but we want the best teachers here in all levels. And this is going to be super expensive, but you made the absolute best teachers come to Youngstown and teach in Youngstown schools. Would that school system get better? They're top tier. No. You don't think so?
Nope.
You do not think so?
Do not think so.
I disagree. I think they would. I think they would get better. You have better teachers that across the board create better learners because they are good teachers, and the school systems are better. And then you can somehow create Youngstown schools is one of the top schools to go to in the area. I bet people would go to Youngstown schools. People would raise their kids in Youngstown.
Vehemently disagree with you. Unless you took a SEAL Team 6 teacher troop, right? That were super skilled.
We can argue over that. Yeah.
But I think
you up security. You make have to get people to move to the area for something. As a real estate agent, as a loan officer, the first question people always ask is, what are the schools like?
All right. I got
the schools like?
Two hypotheticals
I'm gonna raise
for
my kids
you.
here.
And these are the two things that you need to change or fix or engineer or whatever.
Right.
Number one, let's just say you go to a restaurant, you take your wife out to a nice dinner. Okay.
Yeah.
And it is a $250 a plate dinner. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you know that there's going to be some scratch invested in this dinner. How critical are you of the food? Like, can they just mail it in and get you some Salisbury steak with some maybe mashed potatoes on the side, and then you leave there and say, "Man, I paid a lot for this." But that was
it's got to be good. If I'm going to pay, it's got to be good.
Okay.
Yeah, better be some dry aged steak, some
bomb-ass
mashed potatoes.
If a parent was paying a tuition of $15,000 per year for their student to go somewhere, would they have anything invested in making sure they show up, making sure the education was quality? They would have some really big red lines in the sand. Right. Or else they would be like, I don't really give two shits about education. I'm just going to send my kid to the labor fields and not spend 15 freaking grand. So number one, there's no accountability because somebody else is paying the hall for your kid to go to that super expensive urban school.
Until they're competing with other people, because other people say, wow, this is a top tier school in the area. We're gonna move in and we're gonna buy property.
No, you're at that restaurant and you're getting served the Salisbury steak.
People are gonna have to take a chance.
And I just showed you that if somebody else were paying for your meal, you would just freaking eat it. You wouldn't care because somebody else freaking covered the tab.
Right.
Competition doesn't solve that sort of connection to value proposition.
How do areas that were once terrible, like outside of Columbus, turn into, and the problem is it's going to get gentrified and a lot of the poor people are going to get upset, but you are then going to create competition where wealthier people are going to realize that Youngstown schools are the best and they're going to move in and gentrify neighborhoods. And that is okay. So now the opposite is actually happening. So it does have to do with money.
You have a pickup game of basketball, or you have a little league, 20 of your best friends, you play some basketball. And in that group, you have some really good players, right?
Yeah.
And you have some ones that you're just kind of carrying along.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say that we gave the other teams the ability to like pick out your best players and only leave you with the players that you're like looking around saying, oh shit. Like if they were allowed, like open enrollment
it happened in the past when I was at South Range. They would Ursuline and freaking Mooney. If somebody was really good coming from the cornfields of South Range, they'd interview and be like, hey, you're way too good for South Range. Come on over to Ursuline.
What's that do to your squad?
What's that do to your squad? That says this person's abandoning us. Screw them. We are going to destroy them. And then what did we do? We'd go freaking play, the football team would go play Ursuline in the playoffs and go out like the 300 Spartans. That's what you do. You go down swinging. But yeah, they would steal our best players. And
so you got super expensive schools that the people that are buying the product don't have to pay for. And you have the squads being poached with your most behaved, most intellectual. The people that don't want to be there have a chance to escape. And then so what are you left with? A really expensive cesspool of people who don't even want to be there. It's what it is. That's what becomes of the schools. And you don't want to like say, well, let's hold these kids hostage. And if you're not getting a good education, you got to stay there. I want to play for the Bulls. I don't want to play for the freaking, I don't know, insert team in there.
I don't know.
Did I make you speaking
No,
is that what I did?
I'm just thinking. I think people would move. I think people would take a chance. If you could truly get the rankings higher and you could get a better than some of the schools, if Youngstown schools were better than Poland, people would take a chance. Ranking wise, like just teachers are better. You get a better education in Youngstown than you do Poland or Canfield. People would take a chance for their kids and they would slowly integrate in and slowly move into the neighborhoods and make the neighborhoods better. But does Youngstown truly want that? Like Tito Brown said, we want people that look like us. We're going to hire people that look like us. I don't know if Youngstown, that would create gentrification. It would.
Is that bad?
That's a great argument. I think the poor people would say it's bad.
Idealistically, you think that you would not want that to be a phenomenon, but if it's a phenomenon that adds value to it, then why not?
Your property values go up,
right?
Even if you have a terrible house that's barely your property values go up.
But if a school then
survive?
If a school then competed and said, "Hey, we need different identities in here that add to the value of the school," and they can go market to them and try to bring other families in. I mean, that competition is good too.
Yeah. Joe Midlick says it starts at home and home values. I agree, man. Tracy says quality of home life, 2 parents educated who engaged in their children's lives and value education. No amount of money is going to improve the child's education. Only the lives of the employees and administrators of the schools who may or may not live in the city. I think if you get good enough employees of that school and they go in with an understanding that, listen, these kids' home lives aren't the best, and you mold those kids, they can escape. They can fix some of them. They can fix some of them. If you can get a majority of them.
Do you think all kids should be required to go to school? Even the ones that don't want to be there, they're not taking it serious. They got a terrible home life. They're just going to wreck the school anyway. Should they have to go?
At what age? Like younger kids, yeah. But then once you get to the age where you can go like work, if you really don't want to be there, go do a job.
Go do something where you can be productive. You're not getting anything out of it anyway, and taxpayers are like paying for that shit.
Right. But like I think younger kids up to probably like 13. But I don't know if a 13-year-old's going to be able to go get a job. But like once you get into like
I am all for 13-year-olds working. I really think that young kids should be developing their skill set early.
I just don't know if they're
instead of
would they probably be taken advantage of by an adult? Probably.
But okay, they get something out of it.
I don't know, man. That's tough.
Did I just make an argument
Carl
for
says
exploitation
for child labor? Carl says, "Where's Kellen today?" Kellen's out on Tuesdays.
Tuesdays are not Kellen days. They are MLO bro days, and I'm sitting today.
Right.
Luke's what's he doing?
Doctor appointment.
Dude, he goes to the doctor a lot.
Yeah. You ready to move on to Carl says okay, bye. Bye, Carl. Thanks, Carl.
Not good. We are not pretty enough.
I know. Dang it, Kellen. Okay, you ready to move on to craziness?
Yeah.
We can move on to craziness as
I
the
love
people
that you
drop
have
off.
this in store for me.
Okay, so I decided to invest in a weighted like workout vest. This is totally nothing to do with politics. This is we're going into the abyss here. So I invested in a weighted like workout vest that you can like basically practice for rucking. It's 20 pounds. It like comes over your chest here and you like walk with it. And I walked 5 miles with it yesterday. Number one, absolutely sucked. But before I went, my wife, as I'm walking out the door, is like, Isaac, kind of looks like a bra or something. So I'm like, training bra, whatever. So I'm like, where I post on social media, me wearing this thing. I said, is it a training bra or is it a weighted vest? All of the internet obliterates me. Like, it's a training bra. You're a total dork. Like, everybody picking on me. So you give people the opportunity to make fun of you on social media. They'll take it. They make fun of my training bra. So then as I'm on my walk, I'm seeing all these people bust my balls about walking in my training bra. And my mind starts to wonder. And I'm like, 20 pounds. What does the average boob weigh, Joe? Do you know what the average boob weighs?
No.
So I get on ChatGPT. I'm like, the average American boob. How much does the average American boob weigh?
What is the average boob size? So I know I can make a.
So I asked ChatGPT. Here we go. I'll give you. I wear a weighted vest too. Mine looks like a bulletproof vest. Mine doesn't have the front thing. It just comes over your shoulders and then goes around your back. So it kind of does look like a bra. So I asked ChatGPT, how much does the average American boob weigh? The average American breast weighs between 1 to 1.5 pounds. That's not a lot, right?
No.
And that's not heavy at all. And that's just one boob. Okay.
Okay. Single boob.
Okay. Per breast, depending on the size. That means the combined weight of both breasts is typically around 2 to 3 pounds.
Okay.
Here's a rough breakdown. Each breast contains about 4 to 5% of a woman's total fat.
Okay.
An A-cup breast, which is close to the U.S. average, weighs roughly 1.1 to 1.3 pounds. Larger cup sizes like D or DD can weigh up to 2 to 3 pounds each. They're not heavy at all.
No.
Look, I'm surprised. I thought boobs, being a guy, I thought boobs would weigh more.
Is it really A cups or the average?
C cup is close to the average.
Okay, got it.
But C cup is like, I think that's bigger, right? I mean, than what I'm imagining.
Juicier, weightier.
My wife, lovely woman. I love my wife to death. Tinier boobs, not the biggest boobs in the world. But yeah. So the weight varies widely based on body type, breast density, and size. The average is roughly 1.1 to 1.5.
Okay.
So the average woman in America is walking around with 2 to 4 pounds on her chest, 3 to 4 pounds on her chest. So then I'm like, okay, which lady in America has the biggest boobs? Like record setter,
Real or
real natural
Okay.
boobs. The heaviest natural breasts on record belong. Wait, hold on. Oh, I screwed this up. The heaviest natural breasts on record belong to Ann Hawkins Turner, also known as her modeling name, Norma Stitz.
I gotta look her up.
I thought her natural name was Norma Stitz, and I was like, how can the lady who breaks the Guinness World Record have the name of Norma Stitz?
How do you spell that? Norma, S-T?
Stitz. Each breast weighs approximately 42 pounds.
Okay.
84 pounds total. Those are, we're looking them up right now. Those are big boobs.
Yeah.
Like that just says breast problems, or that just says back problems.
Yes.
Right. I thought her actual name, her like God-given name was Norma Stitz. Like
Norma
how could
Stitz. Just hit me. Just now.
right. Tits is in her last name. But yeah, no, this is like Norma Stitz. Biggest tits in the world. That's amazing.
But physics wise, like I want to defend your training bra.
Yeah.
You picked a very high center of gravity. The higher it is up, the
Right.
more it puts emphasis on the lower extremities and muscles, right?
Right. I'm worried about being a taller dude. I'm worried about knee pain and like the running, slamming against when you slam your feet against the ground, your joints and your knees. So I was just doing some research. Weighted vests, you're not slamming anymore. You're still walking. And if you stick to under 10% of your body weight, I'm 20 pounds if I'm 225.
Well, there's a dude that's 20 pounds heavier than you that runs on a regular basis and doesn't crash his knees.
Right. But so you burn like double the calories walking with that weight on you than you do just normally walking. So I did 5 miles. It was tough. I was sweating way more, burning more calories, but I liked it. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
It's just like putting a donut on a baseball bat before you go up to hit. It increases your bat speed because your muscles get used to having more, adversity when swinging. And
then you walk around for the rest of the day once you get it off. And
you feel like you're floating.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. Amazing. Does your vest tighten your traps neck? I can only wear it for a short while. How heavy is yours, Kellen? That would be. So mine tightens here. And I like it because it actually fixes my posture so that I'm not like looking at my phone slouching as I'm walking. It kind of forces me to arch my back more. And, but yeah, I would be careful. They literally said, just don't do anything too heavy. I'm 225. I'm walking around at 225. So 20 pounds is my vest. And they say like slowly introduce more and more weight.
Would you rather run 1 mile with a 20-pound vest or 5 miles with a 1 pound vest?
20 pounds with a one. No, I'd rather power through and just get it over with quicker.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd rather just get it over with and just run that mile because 20 miles is gonna suck just with nothing on. Especially if you're running,
right?
If you're dude, that's gonna take your whole day if you walk that. If you could just walk it with a 20-pound vest on or run it with a 20-pound vest, you're still going to get it done in 15 minutes. I have to pull mine over my head. Maybe you and I should swap since my vest looks more manly.
Looks like a bulletproof vest. He's going to get freaking.
The thing is, though, Kellen, I'm already sweating it. I'm sure mine stinks. So we could straight up trade.
She smells better for sure.
There's no way you smell as bad as me. But I only wore it once. So I'm sure this thing is going to get disgusting. But it has like a pack in the back. I'm assuming you could add more weight to. And I'm only going to go up to like 20 pounds max. So, but yeah, I think they make them so you put yours over your shoulder. I wonder how heavy it is. And I mean, if you're under, I don't know how tall you are. I don't know how much you weigh, Kellen, but I would just make sure you do the math and stay under 10% of your body weight, or else you're going to mess up your joints. But if you're not used to it. But what else you got, Joe? Anything else? That's my addition.
The shooting in New York last night. We got to hit that.
Yeah.
Did you watch any of it?
No. Well, I heard the guy walked into, he had CTE and he was upset about CTE and he was like blaming the NFL, and he walked in and shot a bunch of people.
I believe he was sort of like a high school football standout that never really made his way to the NFL.
Okay.
And experience. This is just a guess. I've not watched the news since last night.
Right.
I imagine he was upset that he had his eyes set on making it to the NFL and didn't get there.
So what building did he shoot up?
It was a skyscraper that had probably 20, 30 different businesses in it.
Mm-hmm.
One of them an investment company. There was speculation that the investment company was upset with them. The NFL was in there.
The NFL was in there?
The NFL was in that building, yeah.
Ooh. And he killed like an officer, or how many people did he end up taking out?
6. And he went to the 33rd floor.
And then shot himself in the chest and said, study my brain.
So now the conspiracy theorists are saying that the highest honor of Masons is a 33-degree Mason. Come on, just entertain it. Okay, just entertain it.
Okay.
So he went to the 33rd in acknowledgement to the Freemasons.
What would that have to do with him killing people in like his?
They're digging through the math yet. There's still an investigation going on. The numerology of 33
the conspiracies, right?
Yeah, it's what always happens. Like I don't even. Did you see CNN referred to him as a white guy in the beginning? A white guy. So this dude is blacker than black, right? Has all of the attributes. Not even a light skinned or whatever. He was a black dude, and if anybody saw him on camera, he was a black dude. Really? And CNN insisted that a mid build white guy was the shooter. Blows my mind.
They just assumed because that's typically what the stereotypical shooter is.
Chiron said middle build white dude goes on a shooting rampage.
I see it. Just New York is very strict with guns, right? So this dude's walking down the street with a rifle, as they said he was like using it like a crutch to walk in there. It's like, okay, your gun laws didn't really protect you, right? Norma Stitz is still up there with her heavies. And it's I do think that. Interesting.
Yeah. So there's nothing about this dude that looks like a white guy, right?
He honestly looks like he has a little bit of Asian descent.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, morally white. Sorry. Investigation shooter was factually Arabic, but morally white. I think that's satire.
There's no way that's real. They said he's Arabic, but he doesn't.
They said his last name had Asian descent, like an
yeah, he definitely. Ethnicity. I can see Asian,
but on the anyway, I can't find it, but it alluded to the.
My question: why does that matter at all? At all? What the dude looked like? They were trying to play the white guys shoot up places.
Oh no, they're looking to see if he's a Trump supporter.
Matter.
If he's a Trump supporter, he's a white guy Trump supporter.
He's a white
shot
supremacist.
100%. That's what they go for. That's the state of.
And I feel like both sides. It's like the people just see through the bullshit now and are so over being fed that line. And we wonder, and they wonder why people aren't watching the news. Like I don't even watch the news. I don't watch CNN. I don't watch Fox News. Everybody's like, you need to stop drinking the Kool-Aid of watching Fox News or watching. I don't watch any of it. I turn off the TV and I go outside because I'm just over it. I'll hear about it from my phone on social media or whatever. I'm not doing this. Like I'm going to use logic and just basic understanding to try and figure it out. I'm not going to let CNN tell me that some white supremacist shot up a building in New York City. Like it's terrible. It's very sad. I don't care what he looks like. It's sad. Mental health issues is sad. I think we definitely have a mental health issue in problems in the United States. And I don't know, man.
All right, I got two quick hitter topics.
Nothing to do with.
I'll get you out of this mood because we don't talk about shooters anymore.
Right.
All right. So, I got to bring up pictures. You and I both have an affinity for attractive looking women.
Of course. I mean, I'm a guy, right?
Sydney Sweeney and
My
the
girl.
American Eagle
Jeans
marketing.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
They're saying that
She has great jeans.
Yeah, so they're saying she has great genes, and then the people are freaking out because they're saying, "Oh, it's genes." Like you mean genetics?
Eugenics.
And you're trying to say that they're trying to say that women with big breasts are like genetically better for reproduction, and it's just trying to get people like. I'm like, what are you talking about? I went down that wormhole the other day. It's crazy.
So in the 90s, it was safe to be able to put up a really good looking girl on a poster on your wall because guys attracted to it. Every mechanic shop, every, locker room had some kind of representation of just a nice looking girl. And coupling that with products to sell, guys would go towards that. It was effective. You didn't open the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition and expect to have unattractive women peeking back at you.
Well, the other thing too was it was very much in the 90s, very much uber skinny for guys and girls. Like it was like Brad Pitt in Fight Club. You know the picture of him in the basement where he's just totally skinny, shredded,
Jason Momoa,
like barely has any muscle on him. He's just very thin and cut. So like not eating anything, not really lifting much. And then same with the women that were the models back then, very, very skinny. No boobs, no ass, slender. But that has changed now, and the culture likes more of a little more meat on your bones for women, and in terms of guys, like more muscular builds, like the bodybuilders, that type of like Thor, Captain America, those types of builds are like what is seen as uber attractive.
So is it that Sydney Sweeney makes people who are not that feel so bad they attack her?
She honestly though, like they're getting mad about genes, but she is genetically gifted. Like we talked about the stinking boobs before. Her natural makeup, that her fat stores are in her boobs, and her waist is skinny. Is like genetically rare, very, very rare to be tiny like that, have massive boobs, skinny waist. That is genetically gifted for sure. Same with if it was a guy. If you're a bodybuilder, you want to have big, broad shoulders, and you want to have like a V shape where your waist is really skinny, but your shoulders are really broad. And naturally, like me, I have broader shoulders. I'm not blasting gear, so I can't get massive, but my waist is just naturally bigger. And some guys can just eat whatever they want, and they have that. And then once they go on a diet and once they start taking steroids, they get really good shape. Naturally gifted people like Ronnie Coleman, like all the bodybuilders. That is a genetics thing.
So if you did a focus group and 75% of male consumers like looking at Sydney Sweeney, and she could sell a shit ton of clothing that they want their wives to look like Sydney Sweeney.
Right. It's always
effective.
Right. It's always been in advertising. You want to put the most beautiful person you can so that people think I'm going to look like that when I wear those jeans. Yep. I think the left saying they're genetically trying to make the white girl with big boobs be the prettiest. I don't care what skin color someone is. I think beauty can be found in any skin color. Like Rihanna's gorgeous, Beyonce's gorgeous. I honestly think it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what skin color they are.
But even if it didn't, whatever is appealing to you, no form of programming was effective at convincing you that what you thought was really good to look at.
Right.
Since it's unpopular, it doesn't mean it's less. You want to look at it less.
Yeah. And I know that there are studies that have been done that prove like you could put whatever people see on TV, like Barbie, for example. If you take little girls, and forever it was white Barbie, if you took little girls from any walk of life, any skin color, they're going to pick white Barbie because that's what they see on TV. So like I get that argument that people try and make, that like, hey, there has to be diversity on what's on TV, so that little girls from all walks of life can have something to relate to and they don't just pick the white Barbie. I kind of get that. But at the same time, it's like, you can't overdo it. You can't, like, you're complaining about Sydney Sweeney being in an ad and they're genetically like trying, what did they call it?
Eugenics?
Is it eugenics?
Eugenics, yeah.
That they're like trying to get people to think a certain way so that they like something about reproduction. I don't even know how to explain it.
All right. So if I formulated a bunch of television shows where people who are 5'5" aren't the butt of jokes and they're uber successful and they're the sort of like the middle part of all people's emphasis.
Yeah.
Tall, no more. It's short people that are awesome. You think that I could sway you and how you feel about short statured people and be like, I want to be short. I would like to take some of my calves off and join Joe in 5''ness.
I think they're trying to get you to think a certain way, but I think uniqueness is what makes her pretty. Like, I think her big boobs, skinny waist, something that you don't see every day in the average person is what makes her pretty.
But ladies, we're so easy.
I know
you hang big boobs.
I think at the end of the day, guys think big butt, big boobs. Like, just it's in our brain. That is a good person.
Why?
Scientifically, that is a good person you want to reproduce with.
What does that mean?
Because that means fertility.
Fertility.
Yeah.
Right.
But like, then at the same time, all these women are trying to. They get like plastic surgery done where they get Botox in their lips. They make their lips look so big, like big tires. They like pull their faces back. They're doing all this stuff. They get a nose job. But like, I'm watching like Love Island or whatever with my wife. All the girls look the same. They all look the same. And they're like early 20s and they look like they're in their 30s because they all got the same work done on their face. And it's like, I'm like to my wife, I don't think any of these girls are pretty.
Is it because they're all the same? They're all Stepford children?
The same.
Right.
Yeah, they all look the same. Like, you're totally eliminating your uniqueness in what makes you pretty as a woman. Like, I don't think my wife looks like every other woman on planet Earth and had all the work done. Like, I don't find that attractive because these ladies are eliminating what makes them unique. And
so, like, fertility
if you have a big old honker and you want a nose job, more power to you. Do whatever you want. But like, and you are allowed to do whatever you want, think whatever you want. If it's for me, it might not be for another guy. And like, I'm not trying to tell ladies what to do. I'm just saying, in my opinion, I think that if you all become the same looking female, I don't think that's what makes you stand out. And I don't care if you're black, white, whatever. I think uniqueness is what makes you pretty.
So if you had a whole parking lot full of Ferraris, the Honda immediately becomes exotic.
Yeah, I think it has character. If you're driving a perfect example. Who's the dude that played Batman?
Which one?
Batman, the one with the Batman Begins, The Dark Knight Rises. Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Christian Bale goes to an interview for one of those movies, rolls up in a Toyota Tacoma, an 05 Toyota Tacoma. And they're like, Christian Bale, I don't know if you know this or not, you're Christian Bale. You're driving a Toyota Tacoma. Why the hell are you, sir, driving a Toyota Tacoma? It's like, it's a great vehicle. I love my Toyota Tacoma. It's a great vehicle. It's held up. It's been great to me. I'm not getting a new car. I'm driving my Toyota. I'm like, bro, I want to buy a Toyota Tacoma.
Boom.
That's awesome. That's amazing. Who needs a nice car? You could buy a Toyota Tacoma. It'll last you forever. And now my next vehicle is going to be a Toyota Tacoma because Christian Bale from The Dark Knight drives one.
I think that's eugenics. I think
right. That has nothing to do with luxury. That is Christian Bale just told me that Toyota Tacoma's rule, and he's a freaking millionaire. I want to buy a Toyota Tacoma. That's awesome. I don't know what that is. I don't know if I'm brainwashed because that's Batman driving around a Toyota Tacoma.
Psychotic commercialism is what that is.
But like, if that dude's why are you driving a Honda? Why are you a football player driving a Honda in a parking lot full of Ferraris? I like my Honda. It's different. It's character. So that I truly do believe that will happen no matter what. I think that like ethnically girls that are like mixes of multiple races and stand out because they're not the basic white girl with bleach blonde hair and whatever. Like, I think if you get some unique blends of different, I think those people, when they're pretty, they're beautiful, like very unique, very different. Like, I don't think it has, I mean, I guess that does have something to do with race, and that's like the differences of race.
Well, we like exotic. We like something that no one else has.
Uniqueness.
And if it's too similar, then we don't want the same stuff that everybody has.
Right.
It's a part of the nature of human beings.
And then at the same time, Sydney Sweeney is absolutely a smoke show. Like, there's no denying it.
Is she your hall pass? Like, of all the women?
Yeah. I have a Sydney Sweeney shirt at home that I got for my birthday last year. Yeah, I do. I was gifted to me, and my wife doesn't like it when I wear it. But
a little jealous of Sydney Sweeney.
I think it's just like, I was like, why are you talking about other women? Like, it's my wife. But
I love my wife, so who's her hall pass? Who
for a long time it was Henry Cavill.
Okay,
Superman, the old Superman. She loved Harry Styles for a while, which is interesting because he's bi and dresses.
That's exotic.
Dresses sometimes, but she's like, I'm kind of confused. Like, she's like, I love him though. Kellen says Sydney Sweeney's playing a female boxer and she's getting buff. Yeah, I saw that. That was an interesting role for her. That was a little different. She played in a Spider-Man movie as Spider-Woman, I think, which was awful. Didn't even see it.
And if she loses the boobs, does it erode anything you have?
I think so.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say it. I think so, and that's awful to say.
No, it's truth. We deal truth here.
I think so. But she did use that God-given attribute to get to where she is. Because there are some scenes, man.
They do it for you.
There are some scenes. But yeah, that's what else do you want to talk about, guys? I'm not gonna sit here and talk about boobs for the podcast.
This one blanked my mind out. There was another topic I wanted to bring up, but I have no freaking idea. Sydney Sweeney does that
because we're guys and we're just
talking about boobs, and
you just get distracted.
We'll talk about beer next.
Yeah, my mind just goes to boobs.
100%.
I'm sorry, I am a man. You'd buy her bath water. That's the soap with the bath.
Is that
water
the girl that did it?
Yeah, that's Sydney Sweeney.
Oh my goodness.
That's the soap with the bath. They put her bath water in it, and then it's like, is it nasty bath water? Did she get done with a boxing workout for the movie she was and then sit in the bath water? Or is it like she just dunked a toe in there and then they're like,
it qualifies.
It qualifies. Because if so, that's kind of gross. I mean, sweaty Sydney Sweeney in the soap. That's kind of not like, that's the opposite of what soap's supposed to do.
But a little vial of her bath water, I don't know what that would do to anybody is sit it on the shelf and say, I have Sydney Sweeney.
It's selling out, bro. It's selling out.
I know. I don't get it. I don't know.
It's wild.
You got one topic. Bring up one topic because I think of my last one.
I don't even know. I don't even know what else we can talk about. Kellen, help me out. What should we talk about? I did not buy her bathwater soap. I promise. If you could, while you're here, we have 29 people still watching. I'm surprised as we drifted, but thank you so much for tuning in. If you could go down below, give us a like, give the MLO Bros a follow, give Youngstown Studio a follow. Youngstown Talk Channel goes live every single day. And call in. If you want to talk about Sydney Sweeney, call in 330-595-1600.
All right. I got one more for you.
Kellen
You're
says,
off the hook.
Kellen says, is it too soon for fall Halloween decor? That's a good topic, Kellen. We'll talk about that in a second. Go ahead, Joe.
All right. So Elon Musk, 400 billion is what his net worth is going to be.
Okay.
Is right now on his way to being a trillionaire, the first trillionaire of our time. There's a lot of pushback on. I think 3 years ago, he had a back and forth with the World Hunger Foundation or one of those charities that work on world hunger.
Yeah, and
he said, "I will donate." If you could tell me where the money goes to and what it would cost really to end world hunger. And it was estimated at $50 billion. So a person that has 400 billion could easily end world hunger for 50 billion.
Yeah.
And he will not do it because of how, or the information that they gave him was not sufficient to know that. Right. So do you think ending world hunger would be to feed everyone, or to teach people how to not go hungry?
It would be to put systems in place so that everyone could eat and everybody, it take education, just like it's going to end.
Do you think it would end it then? If he gave 50 billion tomorrow, all right, what would happen?
I don't think so, because, and I think the biggest issue, it's the same thing as like the homelessness problem. Like it's an industry now. It has become an industry to feed people who don't have food. So there are jobs paying hundreds of thousands of dollars that if you ended world hunger, those people would have to get a new job. So it's going to be very tough to end world hunger because there's so much money in it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you gave them $50 billion, I think it would be a fun experiment and prove his point. And then everybody in the world would just make fun of him, like, you gave $50 billion and what a waste of money and this and that. But like, you could say, I'll give you 50 billion. Here's your 50 billion. You're not going to use it effectively. You're not going to end world hunger, and you're just going to be back in a couple months to
need another 50 billion, and there's still going to be world hunger.
This time it's going to do it. Yeah, but I think you have to educate the communities that don't have any food on what they can do. The other thing is, there's always going to be people in areas where there's just a food drought, and are you going to make them move somewhere where? So it's gonna take education, and if you educate them, they're going to abandon that area, go somewhere else. I don't know.
So do you think it's a morally objectionable that he's going to use his $80 billion to take us to Mars and not spend it on ending world hunger?
I don't think. Why do people think that they can tell other people what they should and shouldn't do with their money? That's what I never understood. Like, I get that's a lot of money for somebody to have, but it's not like just cash. He doesn't just have 500 billion or 400 billion in cash. It's tied up in all of his assets and all of his companies. Right. You can't just tax him and say, oh, we're going to take 100 billion from you because that's your fair share.
Well, communists and socialists
Correct.
And Marxists think that there should be no such thing as a billionaire.
Right. And I just don't understand why you can tell people what they can and can't do with their money. He doesn't have to end world hunger because it's his.
Appeal to him, maybe, right? Yeah. Ask him for it.
Yeah,
but if he's like, wants to, no, dude, I
want to go to Mars with my money. Cool, go to freaking Mars, dude.
You go up to Burger King, and they're like, "Would you like to give $2 to the little balloon people?" And if you almost feel like you weren't in the mood to give to charity, but you almost like you can't say no because they're going to judge you for not want to give an extra $2 to save the balloon people, right?
Right.
But if it was on your own terms and you're like, you know what, I got this big pile of money and I want to do some good.
And I think it's a lot deeper. I think it's a lot deeper than just, we should end billionaires and all their money should go towards whatever. Like, the reason he became a billionaire compared to the average person is he found different ways to create value in whatever he's doing in his life. And if you give that to the government, they're just going to piss it away.
Yes.
They're not going to use it 100%. Efficiently. They're just going to piss it away.
Almost like property tax.
But like, yeah, correct. But one of my favorite quotes that comes from Napoleon Bonaparte. He was, and I think we've talked about this on the podcast in the past. He was asked, Napoleon, like, the Catholic Church is challenging you, and we could just go in, we could kill everybody and just eliminate the church in Europe, right? The Catholic Church would be no more. You're powerful enough. We'll just go get rid of it. And Napoleon's like, no, without people having religion, the poor would consume the rich. And I truly believe, like, he was smart enough to realize that the old quote from the Bible is like, it's tough for a poor man or a rich man to get into heaven. So it kind of says, like, it's okay to be poor and work hard and do this and do that. And it teaches the values in not being the wealthiest person in the room. Right. But without that, and as we fade away from religion, I think religion's on the uptick again. Christianity is on the uptick again.
Totally noticed that too.
Yeah. But as we faded away from religion for so long, it literally has created that situation where a couple years ago, I remember reading articles and leftward leaning folks were like, All we got to do is take out like five of the wealthiest people on the planet. Just take their money and give it to everybody else, and we'll be good. So literally, that is what Napoleon said. We just consume these 5 people and take their wealth and give it to the rest of the world, and all of our problems are better, or all of our problems are solved. It's like, that is not the answer.
Nope.
Being monsters is not the answer. And I think that is an issue that, like, and I think we get closer and closer to that as an option, the more unfair the system becomes. Like, why did that kid shoot the CEO of that insurance company? Like, I know the right likes to say that he murdered somebody. It's wrong, and he should go to jail, and it doesn't matter how much wealth that guy has. And the left is making him a hero because they feel like, oh, there's a wealthy person, head of his insurance company. The insurance is so screwed up right now, across the board, which I agree with. Complete mess. We need to fix it. And the answer is, once again, somewhere in the middle, where what drives someone to murder somebody because the system is so screwed up? And it doesn't justify it, no, but you got to ask the question, why is the system so screwed up? And why was that person so angry with the way things were happening in his life and how he had back pain or whatever, that he had to go and he thought the only option was to murder somebody? That goes to show that, like, the system needs to change.
Yeah. Well, that
will happen more.
That disparity is a natural phenomenon in physics. And think about it this way. Like, let's just say when you got started professionally, there was an entry point to be able to hit, like, going to school and getting internships and getting a job and whatever. As we innovate and we get further and further ahead, your fastest runner becomes faster than even the average before.
Right.
All right. So there's going to be a point where the new person coming into the game will never in a million years catch up to even the median of people that are ahead of them. So if you came out of work and you were like, everybody's making $1 million per year, and I'm going to get this job making 40,000, like, how hard do you even try, knowing that there's so much gap?
Yeah.
You will never be able to compete for the level you want to get to.
So then if the leaders and the wealthy aren't smart enough to realize that you have to
shore up that gap,
shore up the gap, it's going to create anarchy.
Yeah. So even in homes, right? It used to be that you can graduate, you can go to school, you can buy a $40,000 house. How many new $40,000 houses are being built today? Single family, small, none.
Yeah. You can't build a house for $150K.
Right. Yeah. So the starter house really doesn't exist from a manufacturing new ones of that. But you go back to the 50s and almost a majority of them were starter houses.
You could buy a house for the same, like I say all the time, you could buy a house for $30K.
Yep.
$40K. That's the price of a car. But that
disparity gets stretched out. And then people who are like, oh, I see what you have, but I will never in a lifetime get that.
And the thing that scares me is it's a land and property. It's a finite resource. So eventually, I understand America's huge and we have all this land, and, you know, you can, like, we're lucky to live in Youngstown where the property values are lower. The average home price in America is like $450K. And Youngstown is probably like low 200s, maybe low to mid 200s. So we're very lucky to have that opportunity. You can buy property for low. We're protected. We're protected from a drop in the housing market. Our property values would only go so low if there was a massive crash. But yeah, if it keeps going the rate it's going, it's going to be, people aren't going to be able to afford owning property.
Maybe they won't be owners. Maybe it'll all be leasers. They'll just all
be leasers. And like, do you think that somebody should step in and say, hey, you can only own so many rental properties? Businesses can't own 500 rental properties. The average person can only own 5, like, put a limit on it. You can only own 5 rental properties or 10 rental properties, and that's it. You're only allowed 5 doors. Do you think that's fair?
I don't know, man. I'm not smart enough in this area. I'd be throwing that at you.
I don't know.
And saying, like, are we seeing people who own these buildings are dominated by a short few? Like, the concentration of ownership is too much?
Certain communities, especially poorer communities, like East Palestine, for example, right? East Palestine, it's primarily a rental market. So all those houses and all those people affected were not like homeowners, they were renters. So it's just, or in Youngstown, there are specific markets in the Youngstown area that like everybody in Poland owns their home. There are very few rental properties. I'm lucky enough to own one of them. It's technically Boardman Township, but a majority of those people own their properties. And then if you shift to somewhere else, like East Palestine, or maybe I'm not specific on Youngstown, so maybe the South Side or wherever in Youngstown, primarily owned by someone who rents it. They're all renters. They're not homeowners. Like that, I think that's only going to get worse over time if you keep going in the direction we're going. And I mean, I don't know if you limit it. I mean, I think if you own 50 rental properties, you're good, bro. You don't need 50 more. If you own 20.
Well, what's the difference between a
I
person?
don't like telling people what to do. That's the other thing.
Exactly. So if I own 6 companies, like what's the limit? Who's going to decide whether or not I just own too many companies and bro, you shouldn't do it?
Right. You're going to give the government that power. I don't want to give them any more power because they screw everything up.
Right.
Circling back.
Right. But again, we all see the danger in there being a disparity between how much someone has and how the distance is between someone who has nothing. And then the rich people, like you live in a rich neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
And the people that aren't rich get really mad at you and envious of you. And they're like, okay, well, you have something I don't. I'm just going to take your shit. I'm going to break into every house on this neighborhood every night.
Yeah.
And you're like, we like the law and order to protect us from what happens.
Yeah.
But you almost can't blame the people who don't have because they've got nothing to lose.
Yeah, absolutely nothing to lose. Yeah, and if you create a system where people have nothing to lose, they're gonna take it.
Yeah. They'll take Elon Musk's wealth. They'll steal your television, and now you fear the lesser classes.
Yeah.
And what caused it was the separation between the have and have-nots.
Correct. So and hopefully the smart people are smart enough to realize that are running the country are smart enough to realize that.
They're not.
No, definitely not.
Spoiler.
Because because people are selfish, they're freaking selfish. Oh my gosh. What were we? I had another topic that involved term limits. Oh crap.
Can I read what Joe said while you think about that?
Yeah.
Joe said, Joe, would Isaac or Luke be on your smart island? If you had to choose one, who would it be? We talked about this a while ago about like if we were bringing population to Mars or setting up smart island, who would you take there to be able to reinvent civilization? Mm-hmm. Picking specialties, picking different intelligences. So he's asking.
I'm just saying, you put Luke on that island, he's going to take over.
Yeah.
He's going to
Luke's not coming.
He's going to attempt a barbaric takeover and start his own plan.
I'm going to give him Negan's bat, and he can rule what's left of the United States. That's his whole domain.
Yeah.
You're in a different story. You've got some sparks in some different departments. I'd like to see.
I don't think I'm the smartest person on planet Earth. I'm not that smart. I really am not. I'm not gonna sit here and claim I didn't get straight A's. I got A's, B's. Sometimes I got C's. I'm not in terms of academics. I'm not smart. But here's the thing. I think a lot of leaders need to have better hearts, like and think logically as well as care about the people that they're leading. And politicians don't have that at all. I seriously think they're monsters and they don't care on a higher level. Once you get into like national government, I don't think enough of them care truly about what's best, and they care about their investments, their money, and they don't admit when they make mistakes. They're not good leaders. Like good leaders admit when they're wrong. They course correct. Is that you or is it me?
That's you. So
I don't think.
So to answer your question, Joe, I will give him a revocable permit to come to Smart Island on a temporary basis to see how that spark works out.
Good. Very
nefarious
good,
laugh,
Joe. I'm totally taking over.
Did you think about what you were going to say?
No,
I interrupted your thought. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. There was something. I'm going to think of it today when I'm on my walk, and I'm going to tell you. But what's happening right now? Oh my gosh, with leaders in I can't. I'm totally drawing a blank, and we're getting to the end of the podcast. But it's something with term limits, and there's an issue going on with national politicians right now that would be solved if there were term limits.
Well, save it for next time. So here's our parting topic.
Okay.
The autonomous smart vehicle in Youngstown got a $10 million grant for a smart initiative for have this autonomous vehicles that are just giving transport in Youngstown, delivering people and whatever.
Yeah.
And you read the news article?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
And so it was a limited time. It was like a 6-month trial run where they got this $160,000 vehicle. It needed a driver behind the seat, but the car was actually driving. A lot of us thought that they were going to remove the driver and just have it run its laps and nobody be involved. Okay. Well, the end of the term came and they're like, okay, we're ending the program. So we got this $160,000 vehicle. We don't know really what to do with it, but we want to put it to good use. We don't know if we were just going to make it a transportation vehicle and put a driver and screw the autonomous part of it, or we're going to sell it to somebody or lease it to WRTA or whatever. And I think what's going to end up happening is they're going to lease it to WRTA eventually, and they're just going to use it as a bus. Thoughts?
So why did we get to this point?
They got a grant. They got a grant from the federal government to start introducing autonomous vehicles in urban areas.
Yeah, but we just didn't have the people in place to make it to do it the right way, and they're just like, we're just giving up on it. Like,
no, it was, we took the autonomous vehicle to get the rest of the grant money up to $10 million. And so
what did we do with the $10 million?
That is a freaking good question. So I want to put that in the, let's investigate it a little bit and find out where the $9 million.
Where's all this money going? It's not helping anything. Youngstown isn't getting better. Like, it's leadership. You know,
we've got potted plants.
I'm arguing against myself, right? I said, hey, we got to give the schools money. That'll solve it.
That solves problems.
Right. It's like I'm arguing against myself now because we need to fix the leadership first. You need to fix
a plan.
Yeah. There's got to be better plans because good Lord. I mean, what happened to that money? What? Our leadership is just so freaking bad. So bad.
I can't disagree. I was so hopeful for this.
And so talk about feeling trapped, feeling like it's never going to get better. That's where I'm at. It literally, it's such a lost cause. And you try, like, what do we do, man? What do you, I think it's purely I just screwed this up, Joe.
Oh, fuck.
I don't even think I messed it up too bad. I don't know where that went, but it's this piece right here. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I'm screwing this up. But the people of Youngstown, man, you don't want help from the suburbs, right? Mm-hmm. I'm from South Range.
He's not even from there.
Live across from a goddamn cornfield. What am I going to do, right? Or I shouldn't have any part of decision making. Okay, well,
no ideas from you.
I'm not allowed to have ideas. Even though I'm telling you right now, a rooftop restaurant and bar would
in the mall,
not in the mall.
Oh, I'm sorry.
In downtown Youngstown, because you have the building size, the height, and it would be cool to look out over the other buildings as I'm enjoying a steak dinner or whatever. Would crush. And I'm not allowed to have ideas because I'm not from Youngstown. The voters need to do a better job, man. They need to do a better job of putting better leadership in. And I don't know what you do. I truly don't know. I don't know. You got to get better decision makers in place. They put some grass islands in the middle of Mahoning Avenue on the west side.
And potted plants. They did.
That cost $millions.
Aesthetically, they made it. Beautification was a big priority.
You know what was working when I lived downtown? They fixed the downtown area, right? They fixed the downtown area. You felt safe downtown.
That is true.
This was like 2012 when I first moved downtown. 12 through 16, 17. They fixed they had the police like patrol in like a circle around downtown all the time. You'd always see cop cars just constantly going around. As I lived and went to YSU, I lived downtown. The bars, they fixed up downtown. There were restaurants, there were coffee shops. There's like Joe Max. There was where the Whistle and Keg is now. Is Whistle and Keg even still operating?
No. Tried to stop there the other day and they're not there.
Bro.
Yes.
They had all these bustling restaurants. Nightlife was sick. Everybody was going out. It was wonderful. And then it seemed like it was starting to like billow out. And then the campus got better. There were more stuff going on at YSU. They put new apartment buildings in. And then right around, I don't know.
There was something
happened in 2018. Something happened 2018.
Okay.
And then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And just like after that, who got elected in 2018? Can anybody?
Who was that guy?
Who was that guy? I don't
remember.
I don't know.
It's way
the
far
mayor,
ago.
maybe the mayor got elected in 2018, and then it just started to go downhill, man.
Some dude.
Go downhill. I think a lot of people, I think the police presence went down. Then I had my wedding down. I had my rehearsal dinner downtown. I had, what's the train station? B&O station. I had my wedding there in 2021. The night before my wedding, there was a freaking shooting in downtown Youngstown. I was staying at the hotel. There's a freaking shooting or a stabbing or something. I don't know, man. And
I feel better now because I feel like we unearthed a lot of some of your anxieties today.
Right. Correct. I do. And like you fix downtown and it billows out from there. You get people spending money in Youngstown. That money with good leadership creates a better surrounding area. And that's gone now. So what do you have? You have nothing. They have a blank slate, a blank canvas. I think that's what Tito wanted. So what are you going to do, man?
New leadership, new mayor.
We need new leadership. It's just a mess. Brad says Ween Park is beautiful, but unless there is an event there, nobody there, nothing to do there. Yeah. Nobody wants to go there if it's not, they don't feel safe. They don't like the area. There's, not good businesses around it. You're not going to get anybody down there if there's not people. If it's just not, they don't feel comfortable. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have all the answers. I don't know. It's just frustrating. But
take us out.
Joe, thanks so much for filling in for Luke or being better than Luke. We appreciate y'all for watching Youngstown Talk Channel. I'm Isaac from the MLO Bros. Joe representing Youngstown Studios. We appreciate you for being here with us. MLO Bros stands for Mortgage Loan Originator Brothers. We are loan officers. Luke and I are both loan officers. Luke and I are both real estate agents. If you want to buy, if you want to sell, if you need advice, if you need to finance your next house, you already have an agent. I'll help you. You want to refi next year when rates come down, I'll help you. If you want to start your own podcast, come downtown, come to Youngstown Studio. Joe will help you out. He can get you set up with a podcast about, I don't know, making fun of the MLO Bros or whatever you want to talk about.
SydneySweeney'sBoobs.com.
Sydney Sweeney's Boobs, a podcast exclusively about what Sydney Sweeney is doing and why she's attractive. You can
four pounder.
They're at least 4-pounders, bro. And she's a tiny woman too. At least. But thank you all so much for watching. We appreciate you. We will see you Friday. Luke will be back in the studio. We'll be shooting the shit once again. But see ya, everybody. Bye.
Thank you for listening to this show on Youngstown Studio. This is original Youngstown content. Feel free to share our videos and tell your friends about us. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook. Thank you for